Jon Gary Steele, congratulations on receiving your very first Emmy nomination for your work on Outlander. I want to start by asking how it felt when you got the news you'd been nominated.
It was great. Thank you very much. That's very exciting. It's my first one. Our set decorator, Gina Cromwell, she's been nominated 3 or 4 times, and she says, it's old hat for her, but for us, the rest of us, it's very exciting. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, it's certainly well-deserved. I mean, this show is must be a production designer's dream. Not only are you working in period, but you're going all over the globe and through different time periods as well. So let's talk a bit about how first you got involved with the show. You've done a lot of work in feature films, but you've done very little television. So what got you involved with this?
Young people all the time that will work one time and then later say that's not for me. But of course, the people, because it's kind of crazy and it's long hours, but obviously I love it. It's fun. And what I like about it, I studied architecture, and what I like about it is it's completely different on this show, each episode, but especially every year is completely different. We're in a different world, Scotland, Paris, America, it's changing constantly. And it's actually a lot of fun. And as you said earlier, it is a production designer's dream to kind of, when I was younger, Terry and I used to talk about doing period pieces all the time. And in America, it's really hard to get period pieces because they only made 2 or 3 a year, it seemed like. And most of those they would use European designers. And I kind of lucked out, and Ron started this show, and here we are. And we build a lot of fun sets. And we're all over Scotland. It's been great. It's been very exciting.
Mm-hmm. So speaking a little more specifically about your work this season, like you said, you're now in France. First of all, I guess at the end of every season, do you think to yourself, where in the world are we going next? And talk a bit about the research that you did into creating these sets for this period.
Well, I'm a big Francophile anyway. And Terry and I both have always said we just want to do something. We used to, when we were younger, we watched Dangerous Liaison about 1 million times and kept going, oh my God, why can't we do something like that? And then we kind of got to do that on this show. We did tons of research. Actually, some of the art department, we went on a trip on season 1 at the end to just do some, look Paris, completely period correct as you can. There are certain times that we do a little more dramatic things like the Star Chamber, but most of the time we try to make it exactly as it would be. And we books, films, magazines, a ton of stuff, of course, online. Google becomes everyone's friend, as you know. We're always looking at, no matter what you're building, and tons of things are being built that are not sets even for the art department, as you know. They're building cranes and for the warp scenes. They're building tons of props and stuff like that. I mean, there's just tons of stuff. And you asked earlier the difference between this on Finite and you go, oh my God, we only have 4 more months and then we're all going to go on vacation. On TV shows like this, it's like a train that never stops. It just keeps going. And to be truthful, when you're, for especially on this show to us, it's like halfway through first year, season 1, we were already building models to show Ron, our showrunner, Ron D. Moore, who is amazing. We were showing him the models halfway through because we knew that if we didn't start prepping way in advance, we wouldn't have time to get it all drawn up because the working drawings take quite a while. And to get it drawn up so that they could start building as soon as we got back, because the idea was to start day 1 building Paris. And we did, and it was, it was awesome. It was really, really fun to build all the different sets for Paris.
Mm-hmm. What were some highlights for you? In fact, I guess we could talk about the 2 episodes that you're nominated for, which are Not in Scotland Anymore and Fates. So why did you choose those episodes? Did they highlight your work particularly well?
Yes, we wanted the stuff that was going to be Paris, which was way more opulent. Obviously the Scottish sets are, they're fun and beautiful also, but there's way more detail in the more gilded detail actually in all the Paris sets. That's now I'm trying to remember all the names of them. You realize I'm already on 3. And
Your mind has already moved on from
Yeah.
Paris.
So we've already done Paris, and it was great, and we loved it. But you know, we did tons of research, and we're basically what you're trying to do is show the difference between Scotland 18th century and Paris, France 18th century. And the concept was to make it as decadent as we could afford, basically, I think, in every department. And that's what Ron wanted to do. He wanted to show the different worlds. You know, Scotland is amazing in the 18th century, but Paris was, you know, the height of decadence in every aspect, you know, design of all things, from garden design to furniture design to landscape architecture to obviously fashion and, of course, architecture and art. So you take what money you have and you try to put it in the right place and to try to get the audience, you know, excited about each next thing that's going to happen, the parties and the different fetes that they call them. And there you have it. That's what we do.
To say the least. I wonder if you could talk a little bit more about Ron Moore and what he gives you as a showrunner that really helps facilitate your work.
He's really good. Obviously, he's very smart. He's really good and very talented writer, and everybody loves him. And I think probably the most amazing thing to me is that he's just a good man. He's just, you know, obviously I know him really well because of Terry, and we're always having dinner at their house in Los Angeles and stuff like that. And he's actually quite fun, guys. He kind of lets us do like costumes and sets. We kind of do what we want as long as he's signed off on it. You know, the word that he would usually say, that especially first year, because, you know, he'd not done a big project like this with him. He'd say, Gary, I would pitch ideas and he would go, okay, as long as it's real, Gary, is it going to look real? And, you know, he wanted, at the first year, he saw every prop that was going to go on. He saw, of course, every drawing, every model. You know, we built models for everything to show he and the directors and DP. Of course, it's a great tool for everyone. And actually, it's a great tool even for us. And he actually gives me a lot of leeway. We can almost do almost anything as long within reason. There's been a couple times he's gone, that might be too much. I don't know, I can't remember what it was. There was a big staircase going down into the thieves' hole is what they called it. And they thought that was a little bit too much what I had drawn up. But it all worked out and it looked really good. And the one funny thing is that as I've said this story before, but on the Star Chamber, I drew drawings and sketches, and then I handed off to a model maker. Jasper made a quick model. I said, it's just a study model. I just want to show Ron, see what he says. And Ron looked at the drawings and then looked at the model and he goes, and I'm explaining, I had all these beautiful research photographs of paintings and things like that I want to do with this dome with lights of shafts of light coming through the dome. And he said, now, you want to do what? And I explained it again. And he goes, okay. He goes, I'm going to trust you. He goes, make it work, make it happen. And it was probably one of the most fun sets I've ever. It wasn't that it was the largest set, because I've been lucky. I've worked on a lot of features where I got to bets, which is, you know, the most fun part of all. But it was fun because it was different. Most sets are rectangles and you have, you know, whatever detail you can get into them. And this one was great. We got to do a dome, and the plaster man and all his crew, they were like jumping up and down about getting the
Wonderful. This show has such a huge fan base. Why do you think it struck such a chord with people? I mean, obviously it's based on a very popular series of books, but you know, the show really has taken on a life of its own. Why do you think it appeals to people so much?
I think it's many different things. I think number one, it has a fan base of however many, 25, 30 million, whatever that is, huge. But I think it's more than that. As I tried to explain it once, we were on a panel in New York and then a panel in LA. It was costumes, myself, the sound, music, Bear McCreary. I think that the fans are so excited about the books and they're so excited about the show, and that no matter what we show them via Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, whatever, we can only show so much, but whatever we do show, they're so excited about it that I think we all get excited that people are so excited about our work. Like if they see set stills or costume stills, number one, they were amazing. Kat, Tobias, Sam, they're all three amazing. People love them. And I think that there's something, and maybe it's also part of the fact that it's from a woman's point of view, and there's not many shows that do that. I think it's many different things, obviously.
Mm-hmm. There is this great sweeping romanticism to it as well. I mean, it's unabashedly romantic, you know, and I think that's something that's very appealing. And your work, I think, helps facilitate that, you know, this grand opulence and this loving detail to the period, you know.
Well, I think it's never discussed, but I think what we're trying to do between different departments, and I know that in my own mind, is I'm trying to make it sexy. Mm-hmm. It's a sexy book, and the people like that, and it's very romantic, and the whole swashbuckling aspect of it. I think that whenever we do this, each set, that we try to make it sexy. More, you know, even more so in Paris, we try to make it decadent and beautiful, and it's deep, dark, rich colors and lots of gold everywhere. And I think that people respond to the beauty. I hope. They do.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I was doing this panel, and we did one in New York, and then we did one in LA at the Paley Center in LA, and they had all these press people lined up. Now, I've never done a red carpet kind of stand in line, and one, and I was kind of like, each one said to Terry and I, "We love this show. We're fans of this show. We love everything. We love what you guys are doing, blah, blah, blah." And we both kind of looked at each other and went, you know, this is wild. This is great. It's interesting that people respond to the show. And that's what I was getting at earlier. I think we get excited that people are excited. We get excited. I mean, who doesn't want someone to love your art? Who doesn't? I mean, everybody on the show, be it a prop maker, a plasterman, a scenic artist, a construction, or the model builders in here, or the people who make the little bottles of medicine that go in Claire's apothecary, or the costumes. There's a million, you know, what is it? It takes a huge village of people. And how many times have we all been on projects where people don't really give a damn what you've done, really? You know, it's really about all they care about is the star of the show. And I think people are responding to the love that's put into every little thing because it shows through all the work. And I think people love that. And I think, therefore, we all get excited because people are appreciating what we do. And I think that's part of the magic of the show.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, Jon, congratulations once again on your nomination and on your work. Anyway, you're welcome. And we look forward to season 3.
If you have any questions, or you can always email me if you need anything else answered.
Okay, thank you very much.